Hi, welcome to Vicky Makes and Builds. Today I'm going to be building a puzzle from a new to me puzzle brand. The brand is called Happily Puzzles and the puzzle is called In the 80s. And this puzzle was gifted to me, so I want to thank Simon from Happily Puzzles very much for sending it to me. Now, usually at this point I would move over to my overhead camera and do some footage of me opening the box and pouring out the pieces and having a wee look at the pieces. But unfortunately, because I'm silly, I accidentally recorded that whole thing in time lapse. So there was no sound and it all went way too fast. So this intro is actually recorded after the puzzle has already been finished. However, I do still want to give you my initial reactions on the pieces. I do remember what they are. So I'm going to attempt to do that just now, but in a slightly different way to how I usually do it, and also retrospectively. So what I like about the box is that it's a decent size without being too big. So storage wise, it's a really good size, but it's not so small that you really have to cram the pieces in, like they only just fit. It's a good sized box. It's really lovely, thick, sturdy cardboard. And I also really like the way that the lid doesn't quite reach the bottom of the bottom box. So you actually get this like orange stripe showing through, which contrasts against the yellow. And on the shelf, I think that looks really, really cool. Moving over to what's on the box, we do have a full image covering the whole top of the lid. On my box, there is this sticker obscuring the bottom left part of the image, but this is easy to peel off and it doesn't damage the box when you do. And that's good because having a whole image that's unobscured by anything really helps, because this puzzle did not come with a poster inside. On all the four sides, we have the name of the puzzle, the name of the artist right underneath the name of the puzzle. We've got the piece count and we've got the Happily Puzzles logo. And on the back, there's a small blurb about the artist herself and a wee paragraph about Happily and the puzzle company itself. Lastly, you can find the size of the puzzle on the back of this box in centimetres. There is some information about what to do if you have a lost or damaged piece, how you can go about replacing those. It tells you where you can follow Happily on social media and gives you a wee bit of info about the sustainable materials used in making the puzzle. Inside the box, the pieces were housed in a white paper bag. It wasn't resealable, but it can be reused if you really want to, if you put something on it to reseal it after you've put the pieces back in. But if you don't want to reuse it, then it is recyclable. So that's another good thing. No plastic bag for the pieces. What struck me first about the pieces was how sturdy they looked. They had a satisfyingly chunky feel. The texture of the pieces and the shapes of the pieces put me in mind a lot of Cloudberry's puzzle pieces, but with a far less waxy feel than Cloudberry's, which is good. They weren't shiny at all, which I really liked, but there were one or two pieces stuck together. There was no puzzle dust at all and the image quality looked really good. So I was really looking forward to building this puzzle. So now here is the footage of me starting the build. I hope that you enjoy. I decided to use my shuffle method to build this puzzle. I didn't think it would fit on my board vertically, but started it that way anyway just to see if it did, but also so that the collage would be the right way up on the camera. So here is me kicking things off with the edge and also some of the pinks and the red pieces. Okay, so I was right. It doesn't fit vertically on the board this way. But for the sake of filming, I've kind of just got the edge in two halves. I have a couple of edge pieces missing. There's one missing there. There's one missing at the top of there, which would go here. And there's one missing down here. And I think that's it. I think the right-hand side's complete and the top's complete. So that's not too bad. Three edge pieces missing from a shuffle anyway. I got pretty much all of the Care Bear done apart from the rainbow on its belly. A little bit of that pink mouse, a little bit of that, looks like a radio. And what else have we got? We've got some of the cassette at the top that's come together, that red stripe on the roller skate, this big red thing here. I can't remember what these are called. I suppose they're called Viewmasters, but I do have a recollection of having one of these. So yeah, this is making me quite nostalgic, this puzzle. We've got the Ghostbusters symbol there. Got the beginnings of a Jammy Dodger down here. Wasn't sure what this was at first, but I think it might be a scrunchie for your hair. But yeah, it's so fun so far. I mean, it's coming together a little bit kind of in bits, but I suppose collages are like that. And it's going to be really satisfying when they all start to kind of come together. But I've pretty much done all the pieces I had picked out. So I am now going to shuffle again and look for blue pieces. It would be light and dark blue, but there's a fair few pieces kind of this shade of blue. And then obviously any more pinks and reds that I find, or edges, I will obviously pick those out as well. But the more I'm doing this puzzle, the more I'm kind of getting to know which pieces go where. So I'll just keep shuffling, mostly focusing on blues and trying to fill in any gaps where I can. But it's so much fun. I'm really enjoying it. Really, really nice puzzle. Okay, so I pulled out the blues and I've got a good bit of that roller skate done. And the Golden Wonder crisps, which are salt and vinegar flavour. That's my favourite flavour crisp. And this big bottle of hairspray. And yeah, and I was pulling out more red and pink bits. So I managed to get some more kind of, more of that like red stripe, for example, filled in. That French flag looking thing. I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to be. But anyway, I got more of that filled out and things like this here and so on and so forth. So then after that, really, I just was picking out pieces I kept seeing the most often, like for example, that biscuit there, or, you know, more pieces of that Jammy Dodger. This I think that's supposed to be a candy necklace. Or maybe it's just a necklace, actually. It's just a normal necklace. I don't know. We used to have candy necklaces here, but they were like little disc shapes on a piece of string. So I don't know if that's meant to be that, but yeah, so I've just been kind of filling in whatever I've found, really. So I think now you reach a point with the shuffle method where no amount of shuffling really is going to turn all these blue pieces over into, you know, image pieces. So, oh, there's one that can go in. And just there. So yeah, I think what I'm gonna have to do now is just go through all these pieces and turn them over. And usually when I reach that point in the proceedings, I find a lot of pieces that I can slot in. So I'll turn them over and turn them over and turn them over. Oh, know where that goes. Oh, know where that goes. And so on and so forth. So by the time I've done that whole process of turning them over and filling in gaps, then it will just be a case of picking things out and just finishing them off. So I started this bag of squares here, which I do remember being in these yellow checkered kind of packets, although that one's cheese and onion flavour. Quite partial to salt and vinegar squares myself. But yeah, it's so weird, these things that I'm just remembering. I mean, I was born in the 80s. I was born in 1982, so I would only have been small. But I remember so much of this stuff. Anyway, going off on a tangent. So yeah, just filling in stuff that I haven't done yet. So for example, here's a big VHS tape that's quite dark, so there'll be a lot of grey and black in there. There's also a big Magic 8 Ball there, that'll be kind of black. The calculator down there, that's sort of grey and black. So there's quite a few of those pieces left, because what we've also got that Nintendo controller there and that watch as well, and that Polaroid camera at the top. So yeah, so I think there's quite a lot of black and grey pieces left that I can fill in. But yeah, just going to keep shuffling away, turning the pieces over now and filling in as much as I possibly can until it is done. I really love how this puzzle holds together. it's finished and I had a blast building that. It was a fun image and collages are just so satisfying to see come together. And the subject matter was just so nostalgic for me, especially the VHS tape. I remember we had a huge collection of those when I was a kid, and it was mostly just a mishmash of stuff my dad had recorded off the TV, which largely was John Wayne movies followed by a concert or like a Torval and Dean Ice dancing routine or something like that. I mean, it was completely bonkers, the different things you would have on one VHS tape in our house. Also that camera film as well. Oh, what a faff that used to be when you had to change your own film in your camera and then take it to get developed and all of that. Thank goodness we don't have to do that anymore. The roller skates, they reminded me of when my sister and I used to roller skate when we were younger. And of course, all of the sweets and snacks. I used to love a sherbet fountain back then as well. Now, with the sweets and crisps on this puzzle, I realised that they might not be pertinent to all parts of the world. Not all parts of the world call what we call crisps. Crisps, there's some in America, I know they call them chips. So, but this is a British brand puzzle and it's a British artist as well. So I think maybe the sweets and snacks might be a little bit more pertinent to the UK than they are to some other parts, but still there must be at least one thing, if not more, on this puzzle that most people can relate to from this decade. It was so much fun. I loved it. Quality wise, it was great as well. I loved the chunkiness of the pieces. I love the fact that there was no puzzle dust at all. The finish on it was good. It wasn't shiny in any way, which is great for me personally. I didn't find any false fits on this puzzle, and as I think I mentioned at some point earlier in the build, I really like the fact that sections would stay together, especially in a collage puzzle where you are lifting and moving sections around and putting them together as they all get kind of larger and you start to piece it all together at the end. I really liked that about it as well. There was just one small thing, and that was that some of the pieces were stuck together, and they were stuck together because they hadn't quite cut through properly. There were 2 or 3 where, you know, you could see the card was still attached, and I normally I would take the pieces apart if I find pieces together, but I wasn't gonna do it with those because I would have damaged the pieces and I don't want to damage the pieces. So there was that, but there weren't too many, you know, so it didn't really bother me that much. It was just kind of a minor thing. Overall, I thought this was a really fun puzzle and just so enjoyable to build. I would definitely do another Happily puzzle, and in fact there's another one like this, but it's called In the 90s. So obviously the same idea, same artist, but all different things from the 90s rather than the 80s, so I wouldn't mind having a go at that. And I would definitely recommend Happily Puzzles to all of you watching. I just thought this was so much fun. If you would like to give one a try, you can get these on Amazon. I'm going to leave a couple of associate links in my description. If you use those, I do earn a small commission from qualifying sales using those links, so do give some thought to maybe using those if you want to try a Happily puzzle out, and the money all goes back into improving the channel. So I'll pop those in the description. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hoped you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. Leave a comment if you have any questions about the puzzle, or if you want to share your own experience with Happily puzzles if you've done one yourself. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. You can also become a member of the channel if you are interested in seeing lots of extra puzzle content from Vicky Makes and Builds as well. I'll leave a join link in the description for that. Otherwise, I shall leave it there for now. Thanks again, happy puzzling, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Okay, so I'm just going to do a pickup on this. I feel confident because I think this puzzle held together really well when I was building it. It's a vertical pickup though this time. There we go. Hopefully it fits in the camera. Brilliant. Stays together really, really well.